would be like, because people need to get out. Here's
Yeah.
the thing. I mean, when I'm in Georgia and when they lifted the restrictions, we were like, man, this is stupid. I can't believe all these guys are, the governor's like an idiot and he's letting things open, right? Like, but after like a week or two, I think that's the problem with our society is like when we see other people doing it, it makes it really easy to be like, I guess it's not that bad.
Right.
Now we're, feeling the effects of it. But, obviously, I don't know. You're in California, right, Jay?
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, like California has it, like they didn't open as soon as Georgia did. But like, we started going out, even though we're very liberal and very much like, no, we're not going to do this. This is absolutely idiotic. We started going out and started meddling outside and getting around people. Now we were safe and, had masks and things like that. We were like, okay, I guess it's not that bad. And so I think there's that level of, sure, you could stay in and be completely responsible, but you also need to be human. And I think that's the thing. It's like, this isn't human to be inside of a box for 24 hours a day and not interacting with people. Yes, technology is great. This is great because I haven't fucking seen you in so long. And
right.
Good to see your beautiful face. But it's like, it would be better if I saw you at a festival and we were downing some great cheesecakes and, you know what I mean? Just like laughing about all the craziness we saw at the show. Like that would just be beautiful in its core essence. And that's what I'm missing big time.
I mean, you're right on. Like I'm in a state that has been pretty proactive but now we're seeing huge spikes in cases. So you go, we have no idea what to do right now because even taking these steps is not ensuring anything. So what I saw something online that said, freeze all mortgage and rent payments and give everyone $2,000 a month for the rest of the year. And I'm like, it's worth a shot because I think in the long run, we're going to end up spending more money than that to try and get back to normal. And like, it's all going to change.
You know what the thing that I do not like about this, honestly, is there was a time probably before this, right? I'm not the most socially active or the most politically active person in the room. And like having this time has made me more politically active, or at least just like watching the news and watching sort of what's going on much more than before. Because I think before I was just busy. I'm like, who's got time to watch the news when I got an improv show to go to?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When
and work. And you're working.
And work and like taking care of my family and all that stuff. I just hate that now that I'm like watching politics and watching just all this craziness, I forget, they're just as stupid as I thought they were. Like, I think I assumed that maybe they're smarter.
No, they're not.
Like, they were like, you guys have these important positions, you're making better decisions. Obviously, you don't want me there because I shouldn't be making these kinds of decisions. Obviously, this is what you do for a living. Maybe you'll just make the best decision. And I'm watching this stuff. I'm like, oh, you guys are idiots. Like, you're making the kind of decision like that I would have made. Be like, hey, Jay, what do you think if we just open up the schools? Yeah, kids are kids. Kids will be cool.
Hey, I'm down with that. That sounds great.
And literally put it into law. I'm like, wait, what? Like, do we not have any experts here?
Well, the thing is, we used to look at people, for ages, the people that were experts had positions within environments of authority. And now your expertise doesn't mean as much as my thoughts. No. And I have no expertise, but for some reason, my opinion is of the same level as someone who has expertise.
And that's the wild part is that, like, we're everyday folks. You and I are just everyday folks. We've like done stuff, but we're like everyday. Like, we're not like, I don't feel special. Like, I do normal things that everyone normally does. I think I just had this huge assumption that the people that are in power spent their time and their days thinking about how to take care of the people that are their constituents. Like, okay, how am I going to make it better? How am I going to make sure that these people are taken care of? And what I'm learning is, like, it's like the Michael Jackson song. They don't really care about us. You know what I mean? And it's like, fuck, is that really what's happening? And so
it's the George Carlin bit. He goes, they're part of a club and you ain't in it.
Yeah, we are not in the club.
We are not in the. We're giving the illusion we are. We're giving the illusion that we're a part of the decision-making process.
Yeah.
You know, he said there's 30 kinds of bagels, but 2 candidates. That's the only choice. We have the illusion of choice.
Right. It's the illusion of choice, which is like the worst thing, because honestly, the illusion of choice is the baseline theme to every anime that I've ever seen, right? Every major every major action is the illusion of choice.
Yeah.
And you always make the worst one. Always make the worst one. So like the fact that we have the choice, now we're given these things and it's like, but wait, is this the right thing? And it's probably not, but also no one is, that's the other thing about people in leadership. No one's willing to admit, hey, we got it wrong, but we're gonna figure it out and then we'll move on from it. It's like they don't know. It's like right back to improv. It's like they don't know how to have a bad scene. You know what I mean? Like, you guys are really bad at like, hey, yeah, I understand that was a bad scene, but don't bring that bad scene into this new scene.
Right.
Learn
from that scene.
Learn from that scene.
And don't do the same choice that made that a bad scene.
Yeah, it's like, and that's the thing that's so surprising is like, how we not learn? Hey, okay, even a scientist, right? Dr. Fauci has said some like stuff that he's like, oh, we're not sure.
Yeah.
You should do this. Like, I think he said, let's wear masks. Maybe the mask should only be for this. And then he said, everybody needs to wear a mask, right?
Yeah.
And now let's read, and then a little bit after that, it's like, okay, you don't all have to wear masks. And now he's going back to everyone has to wear a mask. When you say stuff like that and go back and forth, you should always caveat it. At this moment, based on what we know, you should wear a mask.
Exactly.
But we're saying it so like everything and everyone is saying it like they know the facts. And it's like, we don't know the facts.
You have no idea. And the other thing is everything's changing especially with the virus situation. Everything's changing.
You know what I mean? I think for some reason, I thought maybe the government had like these like goggles, like X-ray, like virus goggles by which they can just know where the virus is, right? Like, I'm like, isn't like Elon Musk on some kind of task force that can figure stuff like this out? Like,
he's got it. Don't worry, he's got it. We're fine.
Like, we're the smart people in this. Like, the fact that we don't have like Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and like, I don't know, just the smartest of the people that we know we wouldn't have conversations with because our measly little minds can't keep up with their brains, right? They should be figuring stuff like this out. Like, this is what Steve Jobs and Tim Allen this is the stuff that they should be working on. Like, and we should just wait to, okay, all right, you figured this out? Okay, now we'll listen. But we're not listening to anybody. Everyone's like, all the states are doing their own thing. Yeah, we're gonna open, we're just gonna let it happen. And then the other states like, yeah, we're gonna lock everything down. I mean, that's what I like about the New York governor. He's just like, I'm not listening to anybody but people around me. He's actually the one person that's just like, you know something, I'm only gonna listen to the experts and I'm gonna do what the experts, and now they've controlled it. Yeah. Now they're like slowly reopening, but they're reopening like starting like 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They didn't reopen like in the middle of May when we knew for sure it wasn't over with. You know what I mean? It's like, what are we doing? So.
Well, you said it. It's like we're not listening to the experts and we're valuing everyone's opinion equally, even the ones who are not educated in the area that we're working on.
No, there is not Yeah, and that's now I feel like I'm making a mistake
Yeah.
by listening to everybody. It's like, but no one's got it right. So like, and that's the thing, and I think it goes back to just a core issue, which is where is the leadership,
Oh,
right? Like, and that's what's missing. Like, I don't know if you watch Joe Rogan, but there's this guy who's just an insane man. Insane. His name's Jocko Willick or something like that. He's got like his neck is like the size of my shoulders. Like how like just thick he is, right? But this guy is like ex-military, just the manliest of man, ex-SEAL teams, like all this
yeah.
ex-military guy, right? And he said it best. He was just like, people need to stop assuming that they know everything
Yeah.
and start just listening to what is being said. Once you start listening, no matter what the situation is, it can be the coronavirus, it can be racism, it can be sexism. When you start listening, you now have a better approach and a better thought process to move on. But if you don't listen and you just already assume that you know things, you're always in trouble.
Yeah.
My 40-year-old mind does not know everything about life just because I'm 40, right? I've
Right.
only lived a certain slice of life. I only know a certain set of things, and I know some things, but I don't know everything. And if we stop listening, just nothing's gonna happen. Which is why I got into improv. Like improv, I don't know if we had this conversation, but like improv saved my life. Like it's made me so much money. I know improv people are gonna be like, wait, what? You make money from improv?
And tell me the secret.
But like just the principles of improv, like
Yeah.
the principles of improv, of listening first, like taking things in, waiting to like yes anding, like waiting to like input and like getting that stuff before responding, and then responding in a certain way and responding with things that you know aren't just this what was like spit out, but adding more to it has
Yeah.
made me the most money I've ever made. Since I became an improviser, my salary has increased like just crazy because I'm implementing those things, but I'm putting it into my everyday life. Like the way I listen to my kids is better. The way I listen to my wife is
Yes.
better. Like the way that my whole psychology is much better because of improv. It's like we should put the entire like Donald Trump, Mike Pence, the Supreme Court justices,
Connell.
all throw them into an improv class,
Oh
right?
my God.
Right, and just be like, okay, uh, take the ball, say a word, right? They need to play hotspot. You know what I mean?
Don, you're not listening. Don, I need you to just one word, buddy. We just
One,
one. See how
one
that
word.
worked? One word, man.
That should be our motto. Our president, our leadership should take an improv class.
No. I mean, I'm convinced if everyone took one class, the world would be a better place. And right now it's like it's just screaming for that because you called it when you said it's the listening part of it. Like that's the biggest thing. And people aren't listening right now.
No one's listening right now. No one's listening. I mean, even like, here's the thing. Things have been happening terribly for Black people for a very, very long time. And it is now, not that it's now, but like other people have been listening, but listen with the thought process that you don't know what other people are going through unless
Right.
you hear it from them, right? And that's the difference. It's like if we're talking and you're saying stuff and I'm like, there's an asterisk on everything that you're saying, Jay, because I think I kind of know, you're a white male. I kind of know how your life is. Like, why would I just assume I know what your life is? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't assume that you know anyone's life.
Because I'm smart. I know. Right? I mean, and we'll go live because I think this is very interesting what we're
Yeah.
talking about. But I think that's what it is people go, oh, I already assume I know because I know someone like you or I've met you, or I know you, so I know what you're going to say. And it's like, well, you don't, because you just can't predict the future. And if you can listen to what people are saying and have, you know, it's empathy, which we're so lacking right now in our culture, is empathy.
Yeah. I mean, it's big. I mean, and I think if we just take, like, it's almost like, you know, you've done tons of improv, right? And I know you've probably instilled this in your students about, like, if you don't know what to do, like, in a moment, just take a beat. Like, just like take a beat. Like, just, and then react.
But it's so, you know, it's like life, it's so hard because that beat seems like forever, and we equate silence with weakness a lot of times. We equate, I don't say anything so I don't know anything, versus
Yeah.
take a moment, just take a breath, take a breath. There's no rush to get anywhere. We don't have to compete with each other. We can take a moment and then figure it out together and discover it. And
Absolutely.
sometimes that silence, if you listen to that silence, has a lot of answers too.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, and it's, you know, I think that's, I am so excited about the future of, like, entertainment, because I think this kind of thing where we don't have it, or it's not, like, presented, is going to give creatives and people who, you know, haven't had a chance to sort of express themselves a new leash on life. I
Yes.
feel bad for the big clubs. I feel bad for the Madison Square Gardens, right? But at the same moment, their time has run amok. Like, you guys have made plenty of money in this. It's time for people like you and I, who have a show at the local brewery, be like, we're bringing improv to the brewery, have a drink, and enjoy a show. It is time for us to, like, rise. Like, I can't wait to get back on stage. I'm trying to throw shows at, like, a kindergartner, at a kindergarten station. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I want to throw a show at an ice cream shop. Like, it doesn't matter.
For sure.
Anywhere where there's an audience and
Yes.
people, because people are screaming for this kind of connection, but they've also been screaming for something different than what the mainstream and all the other big elements of telling them. Yeah, you should all listen to Justin Bieber. Yes, he's a great artist, but he's not the only person who can sing on beat, guys. Okay?
And I think you and I are looking at this going, look at the opportunity. It's now leveled the playing field. Like, I am at the same level as a large improv theater, because they're also online. The Madison Square Gardens of the world, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna figure a way to make it work for them, for
Yeah.
sure. They're in a temporary state of holding.
Yep.
At some point, they're gonna figure this out. They've got a lot of smart people working on this.
For
But
sure.
for guys like us, we go, let's try this. We got nothing to lose. Let's try. I'm looking into doing an improv show at a drive-in movie theater. That's what I want to do. I'm like, cars come in, we're socially distanced from each other. They tune in their radio, and now we're doing it there. And if they like it, they can honk their horn or flicker their lights or something. So I think there's a way we can do, or doing it on the street corner, like doing it on a street where cars are pulling up and they're parking outside of that spot. I think it forces us into innovation in a way that it doesn't in other situations, where, like a Madison Square Garden, they go, we've done it this way for so long, we'll try to keep our way going, but in this situation, we go, all right, I don't know, let's try it at this other place and see what works. Let's throw things at the wall and see what sticks.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's the beauty in, like, I don't want to say this is a beauty in sort of a pandemic, but when moments like this, where we have to chance to sort of pause on the world,
Yeah.
The beauty is all the creatives come out, right? Like, and the creatives, the entrepreneurs, the people that have, like, been having this idea that hasn't, like, hit because they've had to go through channels and had to wait for somebody else to approve it, and had to wait for someone else to say, oh, it's okay. I don't really like that idea. Okay, what if you added this and then put this on there and then put a cherry on top? I'm like, screw you. Like, this idea was dope when I wrote it. Like, I don't need you to actually say that it's great. It was great when it came out of my head. Yes, I appreciate the feedback, but guess what? I have no idea because I've seen what you produce. And what you produce is crap for the most part.
For sure.
And so it's like now I feel like creatives need to like seriously unite and be like, screw,
Yeah.
literally, screw the system. Open it up and we will make our own system and we will make our own way, make our own money. Because here's the thing, if you create it, they will come.
And you are one of those guys that, as long as I've known you, you have that mindset of, let's create our own thing. Let's produce our own thing. Let me do the show I want to do, not the show that's done here, not the show that they want.
Yeah.
Like, and if they don't want the show, that's cool. I'll bring it somewhere that does want it. If somewhere doesn't want it, then I'll build my own place and
Yeah.
I'll put it there, because at the end of the day, that's the thing I'm going to be most proud of, rather than I'm waiting. And that's a great word you were using, is I'm waiting for you to give me approval of being a
Yeah.
performer. We don't have to wait for that
We
approval.
have to wait. Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, when we started Red Pill years ago, it'd be like 5, 6 years now. Like we did it because we weren't getting a voice. We were like, um, is it just me or is there not a lot of, us doing improv? And then the other thought was, is it just me or are people not getting how hilarious we are when we do improv? And then, is it just me or are people trying to make us do their kind of improv?
Yes.
Let's just do the improv that we enjoy, because what we recognize as we started like getting together and doing practices is we have a very distinctive voice. Like our distinct voices was very much layered into so many facets of life, right? We had a single guy, we had married people, we had people with kids, we had people with different backgrounds, right? We are Americana, right?
Yeah.
But we just look like this, right? And when we performed, they were like, not even, I don't even want to say that like we put on a black show, but what it really was where people were like, oh, I didn't even know black people did shit like this. I mean, thank you, Wayne Brady, for introducing the world to improv. He's not the only one that does improv. Like, there is an army of black people that do improv, and they're fucking good at it. Like, really, really good at it. But it's like when we started doing shows, we were like, well, I guess no theater is really going to do it. So, how about we just say agnostic and do it at all the theaters, right? How about we just find places that will just have us? And then when you start to think about it, you realize, and this is the crazy part, right? We're in Atlanta, and you're telling me there's not a place that will just house a lot of black improvisers? Yeah, we beg to differ. We'll figure this out. And we did, right? Like, and then so we started performing everywhere and anywhere. And we got to, we started doing festivals. And that was the thing, like even our festival shows, we were so excited about them. And part of it was, oh, they've never seen us before. Let's ratchet it up.
Yes.
Bring them something completely different. So every festival show we did was never the same format. We literally came up with the idea on a plane or in the car, wherever we were driving. Let's do something completely different. And so every festival show we've ever done has always been different. The format changes. And that's how we change ourselves. Let's just do something that they've never seen. Oh, by the way, they have no idea that we've never done it. And you know what? It's always amazing.
Because you get what improv is about, which is group creation and support. And if somebody says in a group, let's do this, and everybody buys in and goes, great, let's make it the best we can, it's going to succeed. It is going to succeed.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, it's been a good journey, man. I mean, I miss, like we talked like a couple weeks ago, me and my team, and my sides were hurting, and like I was just like, oh, I forgot how great this tribe is, and just how it felt just to like laugh with people that you fuck with on a regular basis, and it's like, oh.
There's nothing better than when you're with your tribe and you are just all laughing, like everybody's on board.
Yes.
That you have a different type of laugh
Yeah.
when you're with your tribe.
Yeah. It's a different energy, or what people would call, it's a different spirit. I don't know
Yeah.
whether it's, we're Mercury and Venus and we're all like in retrograde or whatever people
Yes.
would call it. But like it just gets aligned. Like it's like, oh, we haven't seen each other in a while. Let's play, right? But it's that element of play where it just feels like, oh, this just feels good. And when you start doing the thing that feels good and you start doing the thing that like you enjoy, and you are messing with people that you truly like just love. I mean, when I say love, I mean just
Yeah.
love their essence and everything that comes out of them, then you play freely. Then the whole element of like insecurities, just like your own mind drama, goes away because you're like, guess what? Nobody's judging you. And that's a huge thing. Like when you don't have to be judged around your element of
Yes.
team and like your tribe, now you get to be you. And imagine the you that's not judged, that no one's watching, that no one's saying you have to do this, you have to do that. Imagine your ability to move forward from a creative standpoint. The stuff that comes out of my mouth when I'm with my tribe is like Oscar worthy. You know what I mean? Like I'm just amazing. But when I'm not around them, I'm like, how do I find this stuff?
Well, I think what you're talking about is the promise when you first get into improv is that's the case. But then what you realize is, oh, it's not always the case, whether it's people I'm performing with or the venue I'm at or the people making decisions. We get away from that, which is the hook of you can be yourself no matter who you are. And we promise to make this the most inclusive situation. Bring yourself in and you will be accepted and you will not be judged, nor will you judge yourself. But then that slowly deteriorates the more you get into it until finally, if you're lucky enough to find that group of people who you go, I can really be myself. I know that there is that element of love and support here that then, like you said, you do these Oscar worthy and Oscar type moves and moments where you're like, I couldn't have done that alone. It was because I was with this tribe.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's you know, that's the hardest part about improv is because there is such a promise, because at its base core, improv is kind of life, right? It
Yeah.
is like a good definition of the types of things you should infuse in your life. Yes, and listening, waiting your turn, like not putting anyone down, making other people look good. Like it is like the core. Like if Sesame Street was to come to an improv show, right? They'd be like, oh yeah, we take all these lessons and we'll put it on the show.
Yeah.
And so, but it's that system piece of it that like makes it so bad. Not bad. I don't want to say bad, but it corrupts the true honesty of it. Like,
Yeah.
and it's also when those systems are allowed to just fester when no one checks it, right? Which is what I'm enjoying right now. I like the fact that things in Chicago, and there's some stuff happening in Atlanta with theaters here that are just like, oh, we need to check ourselves. Like, I'm so glad that people are checking themselves, because if you've never checked yourself or no one's ever checked you,
Yeah.
you believe that what you are doing is always right. And there's nothing wrong with being checked. It doesn't mean that like you go away. It just means you are now learning, right? And if the people who are in power don't learn, why are they in power? Power comes with responsibility. Like, and I'm gonna sound like a Spider-Man, but like with great power comes great responsibility.
For
And,
sure.
and because you have it, you also have to listen to your constituents, listen to the people that you're providing this knowledge to. And that's the only way we learn. Like, and that's how any theater is gonna get better.
Well, I think what happens in my experience is that when people get in those positions of power, they want to keep the power, and they see everything starting to become a threat, a competition to weaken what they have. So they don't want to give that away. They don't want to listen. And they're holding on to it so tightly that they forget the effect it has on people. And they want to then instill fear and go, hey, if you don't like this, you don't have to be here. And they get away from the knowledge that even if you're in check from someone and learning and growing, that's going to benefit everyone. And only in improv, I mean, you've been in the corporate world long enough also to know part of feedback is part of that's just necessary, is to get feedback.
Yeah.
In improv, it's so hard to give people feedback, and it's taken so personally that they don't want to take it. And it has only become this movement, which there's been echoes and talk of it before. And people were like, sure, we're going to do something. And then they don't. But now
you got this. Yeah. Just leave us something in the comment card and then we'll get
it. Right. And it's like, oh, look. And then the comment cards are now become bits, and they don't listen to it. They don't take it seriously. And then it isn't until you have this collective uprising and saying,
it's a consciousness, right? It's a collective consciousness that, you know, the great leaders of our past have talked about, right? The Malcolm X's, the MLKs, the Gandhis, like, you know, they have talked about when you hold people down for way too long, or you suppress their thought process, no matter who it is, right? Like people who work in, the reason there's unions is because the man was literally making sure that people at the bottom were being treated like crap.
Yeah.
And then unions sprung up to help protect those people, right? Now there's issues with unions and all those other things, but the issues with the unions come from exactly what you said, which is now they feel powerful, right? And it's like, you have to check every level of power, and everyone's got to be checked because everyone has to be put back on a pedestal. I mean, like get taken off their pedestal, and remember why we are doing this. We are doing this to enhance people's lives. We are doing this to help people create. We are doing this to help people spring their creative juices. And if you don't enable that, or you don't remember that that's why you're doing it, you're going to work from a greedy place. You're going to work from a power, you know, struggle place where you're like, okay, I got to make sure that I protect all these things because I'm doing really well now, and I'm the artistic director of this place, and I'm going to make sure all my ideas, all my bit ideas.
Now I get to pick on people because I was picked on.
Yeah. Yes. And it's that
my time.
It's like, yeah, it's my time. Yeah, let me get there. You're like, all those people that you like got picked on, they're gone. Like they're not there anymore. You know what I mean? Like they don't. It's not the people that just started classes that are picking on you.
Right.
It's like the mentality like back in high school when like the ninth graders would get picked on by the 10th graders, and then they get picked on by the 11th graders, and then by the time you were a senior, you'd be like, now you got to shit on all the ninth graders. Well, guess what? The people that picked on you are gone. They're in college now.
Yeah. And you can make that change, but you have to, I guess you have to want it and see, like, it's like, what's the incentive? And if your incentive is, I just want to get as many people in here as possible and collect their tuition and keep the things the way they are now, because we're at a level now where we can't change. Like we have to protect ourselves. You don't see that expanding who you have in your audience, expanding who you have on stage. That will lead to more for everyone, not take away from what you've got.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the reason when we started, like, that's why I can't wait to get back to the new collective consciousness of creatives with improv, stand-up, funny people. I think humor is going to have such an amazing effect on the overall consciousness of our lives. You know what I mean? Like, the Dave Chappelle special, I can't imagine that all those people are like, man, I can't wait till we get a release. I'm gonna go see a Dave Chappelle special, and bam, not what they expected,
Yeah.
but what was needed, right? Exactly what was needed. Yes, it had some funny parts, but you also needed to hear a funny person's take on a very serious issue, because you need that release as well. Like, we all need that release. Not that it's not a serious issue, it's a very serious issue, but we all need to, like, a creative element to, like, let it go, so we can at least become better human beings. And that's the key. We just want to be better human beings. I just want to be a great human being.
Well, you're already there, my friend. And you're talking about the release of tension, right? And that's where a lot of humor comes from, is a release of that tension, and that, let's take a breath, and okay, good. That's something that is in the air right now.
Yeah.
Now we've
Yeah.
released that. Everyone take a breath and get back
Yeah.
to play. And that's an important thing for humans. And in this environment right now, more than ever, we need to have that sense of play.
We need it. One of my favorite new bits that I did recently is I was at a I was at a club, and I was telling folks, that my new favorite, like, category of Netflix is this. After, like, you watch the show, you know how Netflix is, are you still
Yeah.
watching the show? The new thing on Netflix is, are you Netflixing or are you chilling? And when you go to chilling, it basically takes you to, like,
Come on.
softcore
Come on.
documentaries. And when you get softcore documentaries, my favorite category is, like, the 401k category, where your stocks get pounded by the economy. And when I tell you, people were so into the 401k porn stuff, I was like, yeah. And then, like, you see her sister, 403b, in the corner, who's watching you. And then, like, your friend mutual fund comes up, and he's pounding the economy. And, like, I just start going through how badly everyone's 401k. And I live in the suburbs, so they all got it. They're like, yeah. And then they get banged by Ira. Oh my God, she rolled over. And, like, just when I was writing this joke, I was like, I would have never wrote this joke before Corona,
Yeah.
but I also wrote it when I saw my 401k literally go down. And then my kids were going to, like, Georgia Tech, and now they're going to, like, Georgia Middle School Tech, right? And in that moment, I was like, oh my God, what is happening with my stocks right now? But in that moment, I was like, I need to write something about this.
Yeah.
Because I am sure that everyone, obviously, in this cul-de-sac that I'm living in, everyone in this country who's had a 401k, who's thinking, yeah, we'll just put that money in there. And guess what? We're going to take care of it. We're going to take care of that money for you. We're just going to take care of it. And then did that nosedive. And you're like,
Pull up.
my kid's gonna have to play a sport, and they're terrible at sports.
Well, get the balls out. Let's go.
Yeah. Like, the next day, this is a baseball.
Throw with your left hand. You'll make more money.
Yeah, you can get a scholarship for your left hand.
Man, when I see my kids, I got a 7 and 5-year-old, and I whisper in their ear, scholarship. I just keep telling them scholarship, academic or athletic, either one, scholarship.
It is like, I'm so scared of what's gonna happen with our kids. I mean, but here's my favorite thing about watching this. And you said you got a 5 and 7-year-old.
Yeah.
I've got a 9, 7, and 4.
Mm.
Man, our kids are effing resilient, dude.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that they've taken this thing with, like, a huge grain of salt, and they've just thrived in this process. Like, my kid, like, he's pretty good student. My oldest one, pretty good student, but, like, when Corona started, like, his grades were, like, at a C, F,
Yeah.
B's or whatever. And, like, by the time it was over, this kid knocked out all A's and
Wow.
1 B. And what it was just simply that he was like, oh, this is kind of fun. This is different, right? Like they took it as this is a new way of learning, right? So to them, it was like a challenge. We as the adults are like, I want to go back in the office. They were like, oh, this is cool. We get to look at our friends on a screen now.
Yes, yes. They're like, and they also don't have a concept of future. They're like, this is what it is now.
This is
Okay.
just what it is.
This is
Yeah.
what it is.
For them, it's like, ah, cool. This is fun. We've only done this a couple of times, but now we're doing it full time and get to talk to my teachers, get to chat. I get to write and type and do all this other stuff. And it's like, oh, sometimes you got to remember that, like that kid's perspective. Oh, kids see this for exactly what it is. No judgment,
Yes.
no like no exterior thing on this. This is sometimes you got to take that kid's perspective and apply it into like your little brain and be like, oh, they're just living in the present, which is the most improv thing that you can do.
And hardest.
This.
How? Like there are religions and philosophies and corporate culture that's talking about stay present, live in the moment. It's the hardest thing we do. We regret the past, we fear the future, and we're never at the moment right now. And kids are like, that's why it's so silly to punish them for something in the future. I'm going to take this. They don't know. They don't care.
It was like, and like, I get it today. So
good luck with that, Dad. Good luck. I mean, it is that sense of when you're playing, you're trying to get back to being a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing. I mean, that's the best part about the kids now is like, I just think the resiliency is going to be what sort of powers sort of our ability. I think the kids' resiliency is what's going to power sort of the next level of consciousness for this country.
Yeah.
Like they're brave, they're super woke, they super get context, they super understand. They don't understand everything that's going on because they don't have the historical context of what's taken place beforehand, right? Yeah. But they're also very much aware that this is not okay, right? Like the stuff that's going on, like this is not okay. I mean, I hate that I have to have a conversation with my son about racism and how to act if a police officer comes around. But I'm also very conscious that her first response to me was, yeah, that's not fair, Dad. It's like, you're absolutely right. It is not fair. And I don't even want to teach him the concept of this world not being fair because I feel like that's what our parents said. Yeah, this world isn't fair. You're just gonna have to get over it. I'm like, I don't want to teach that. You know what I mean? I don't want to teach that that this world is not fair. I know it's not fair, but I also don't want to believe that just because it's not fair that you should be okay with it, or that you shouldn't do anything about it. Just, oh, it's not fair. That's just how it is. That's what I love about the kids this generation. They're like, no, but we can change that. We can change just how it is. Like, we have to live here. Let's go change how it is.
and they are, right? You're seeing the effects of that. They are changing it, which is one of the positives I think that have come from this.
Huge. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Like I'm so jazzed about the future of comedy creatives, our kids, what comes after like Corona, because I feel like we kind of needed this. We kind of needed a pause from like, we were way too comfortable with the way that life was going and the way that like the system, like imagine if Corona didn't happen, right? This is a crazy one. Imagine if Corona didn't happen and we were just okay with living in the world where people were still one paycheck away from having terrible things happen to them.
Yeah.
We were okay with that. And we didn't do anything about it. And now that we're seeing the effects of that, I truly do hope that everyone sort of rallies and be like, yeah, it's not okay that healthcare costs are going crazy. It's not okay that people are one paycheck away. Like all these things are not okay. Let's work on these really big ideas even if we don't solve them like right away, let's at least like work on it, because it's not okay that the majority of Americans are one paycheck away from a major disaster or homelessness or health issue that they've got to like figure out. That's the part that scares me, and that's the part I'm really like, excited that I think we're going to figure out.
I mean, what is, we do have socialized medicine here. It's called GoFundMe, right?
Right.
And like, it shouldn't be that way. And I think there's starting to be a rise in the social empathy that people are having and going, let me, not just like, let me hear what's happening, but let me self-educate. I've talked to many friends who say, oh, I'm doing this, I'm self-educating, I'm taking it upon myself to learn more and to really embrace it and not just give it lip service. But, and for a while, how many people before this said, oh, if we could just pause just for a few moments to catch my breath, and now we're forced to. And I think you're right. I think there will be something positive and some massive change that is going to come because of this.
Yeah, man. I'm so jazzed about just what we are as humans, as Americans, like what we are capable of doing. Like what, you know what I mean? I think, my father, I'm an immigrant, right? Like I came to this country when I was young. So like, I can't tell the story to my kids. I came with 30 cents and look how I made it. You know what I mean? I can't say that, but our immigrant parents tell us that all the time. And like, I'm the product of huge privilege, right? I've got two parents at home. They're still married. They're amazing. And like, I went to great schools because my parents put me in great schools. Like a lot of stuff was set up for me to like super duper succeed. But not everyone gets that opportunity. And yes, did I work hard? Hell yeah, I worked hard. But I am no way in belief that it was only hard work that got me where I am today. There were some strings that were pulled and shit that was done to get me where I am today. And yes, did I bring myself and make sure that like I was prepared for those opportunities? Yes. But I've met people that have worked so much harder than I have and don't have the things that I have. And the reason they don't have the things that I have is because the system is kind of broken to where they get those opportunities. You know what I mean? Like, I love the fact that there's like this connect the writers where late night writers and like Hollywood writers are connected to minority writers in other places. I was able to get connected to some people. I think that's awesome. You just got to give people a chance. Once you give people a chance, I promise you, the beauty will come out of it. Like, people just need chances. And if you give everyone an equal playing field to be a writer in a room, I know some dope writers that would kick some other writers in Hollywood's butts.
Yes.
Right? But they'll never see the light of day because they live in the suburbs of this place, but they write great jokes for this little TV show that they do that's like only on air on cable television locally in this town, right? And it's like, you're not gonna get to.
But if you open that up, let's say you're in a position of power and authority.
Yeah.
You open that up, now you can use that and you bring in so much more. You bring in a different point of view, bring in a different audience. It's going to benefit you in the long run. If what you're trying to do is, I want to have a comedy show, well, then have the best comedians a part of it, no matter where they are, and actively search out people as well. And that's the other issue is when you get comfortable, you don't start actively going places and saying like, it's my job to find those people. It's my job to give those opportunities. It's not for them to come through a gatekeeper here. I have to actively pursue that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's the consciousness I'm appreciating that's happening in the creative world right now.
Yeah.
That people, I mean, not that people weren't doing it before, but you almost have a special kind of person to be able to be like, something, it'd be really helpful to have diversity on this. And which is such a funny thing that diversity has become such a huge thing in Hollywood. Because in the corporate world, I used to work for, I think we talked about this, I used to work for Accenture, which is like one of the largest consulting companies in the world.
Yeah.
Diversity was like a key part of everything that they did. Everything that they did, right? Like, I remember seeing this lady walk into a room at a meeting with a huge client, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars signed. She walked into a room, she looked at the people that were on the Accenture team and was like, no.
You're right.
She was like, no. She was just like, this is not diverse enough. We're not going to be able to serve a global client who has global offices in so many different places if everyone here looks like a certain type. And she like nailed it, right? Exactly, right? And she nailed it on the head. And because the client was just like, yeah, I'm worried about like the team that you brought. They all kind of look the same. But the reality was that's how we were trying to show up. And the client called it out as well. It was just like, this isn't diverse. We're a global company. We need diverse people thinking globally that have different backgrounds from different places.
Different ideas, different points of view, all headed the same direction, but you're getting different input.
Exactly. And like, if you don't force it, it's going to be really hard for people to get it. And that's why I like the thought process of, not that even you have to, I hate using the word force, but like the system is so broken at this moment that you have to force that diversity conversation. It's what you have to force people, hey, you should consider these other writers in this other place, because every writer that you brought to us has been a friend of yours, and we're done with the dick jokes. You know what I mean? And it's like,
and re-examine your friends, because you have only these type of friends. You're robbing yourself as well.
Yeah. And it's like, I mean, but it's a natural thing, right? Like, I always know that if I ever get put on, am I bringing my friends along? Hell yes. Hell yeah. I mean, it's, as I call it, it's the 50 Cent model, right? Like, when you make it, you bring the friends along.
Of course. Like they will with you, right? The same.
Like they will with you, which is super important, right?
Yeah.
But also don't catch yourself only thinking a certain type of way, right? Bringing your friends along is super important, but also making sure that other people have voices, other people have opportunities, because we all just need an opportunity. That's truly what it is. I'd love to be up for the same roles that you are, Jay.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you'd love to be up for the same roles that I am. But at least we're up for the same roles. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And you can also change your friends at a certain point. You could be like, we were friends when we were young. We don't really have that much in common now. Best of luck to you, but that served me well in that time. I'm a different person. You're a different person now, so we don't have to be friends for life if it's not serving either one of us.
Oh, for sure. Such a good point. Such a good point.
And it's funny you say like the whole up for roles things, because I became friends with a guy who we would always be at the same audition. This was 20 years ago. I would see this guy every time it was an audition. It was like, you're here again. And it was months before we actually talked to each other, but it was like, you look around the room and it's like, oh, everyone in here looks like me. And if that can change now, and you go, oh, they're actually offering it to as wide a net as possible, because they want to bring in the person they think will do the best job at this, then that's great. Like like you said, it gives an opportunity. It's like, let the best person for this part win, but like, let's open it up more. And right now you go to an improv show, and up until the pandemic, it's like, oh, it's a 3-team show. They're all kind of the same, doing kind of the same show. There's no variety.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. That's how it is. So it's weird, but yeah. My hope is we can change that. We can truly change that.
And you know what, you are, and you were, like, before this happened, you were, because you were looking at shows as, let's infuse all different types of comedy. We'll have an improv element, we'll have a stand-up element, we'll do audience interaction. And to me, it's like, we should be thinking in those terms of like, the things you learn to do in improv are almost training wheels. It's like, great, now you've learned these skills, now go do a show that you think reflects your group, not the show that is the show you think the theater wants or is putting on. Like let's have a variety, because worst case scenario, an audience sees 2 or 3 different groups. they are different types of shows. So you have more of a chance that they'll enjoy one of the shows than if they see three of the same kind of shows. And you're like, they did kind of the same stuff, each group.
Yeah, and that's which is the reason we used to love festivals, right? We used to love being the odd folks in a festival because we were like, oh, they have no idea what's about to happen, right? And just even having that expectation, like sometimes lower the bar, but also raise the bar. But for us, we were like, y'all have never seen an improv troupe from Atlanta before?
Right.
Oh, let's have some fun, right? And so like we brought ourselves, like our personalities, like everything to that show because we also felt like we were like putting on for the city. You know what I mean? Like, because you guys not know that like there's some dope ass people that do improv in Atlanta. Like they're awesome. 8 of them are right here.
You're representing, right? There's a pride to it. There's a pride, and you're setting the bar. You're like, all right, well, check this out. This is how we do it. And you're not beholden to, we do it this specific style. You're like, no. Here's what we're going to do. And sit back, relax, and you're going to enjoy it. We're going to take care of you. You don't know what you're in store for, but sit back and relax. We got you.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful thing. I can't wait, dude. I miss you so much, Jay.
Yeah, I miss you too. And it's like, I'm always having these conversations with you. We whether it's about like, you know, life or work or improv or just like reaching out to see how you're doing. Like, it's always great. And like, I think we met in San Diego. Was that it?
Yeah, we met in San Diego, but like we literally knew maybe like 15 of the same people, like especially because that was our like third or fourth San Diego festival. And then I think you came up from LA.
Yeah.
And then I think you came back the next year.
Yeah.
Right? We did the festival 2 years in a row. And like San Diego Festival is just one of those festivals that we went to just kind of on a whim. We were like, San Diego is kind of beautiful. Let's just go out there. And it was like when the theater first opened. And we were like, oh, this is fun. And then like being out there, I'll say I can be honest, like one of the huge turning points in my life from an improv perspective was watching Jet So. I saw their show and I was like, what is this?
Right?
I was just floored by just the bravery of those three people on stage and just the level of commitment that they had to the craft. But like, it was different. Here's the thing. I've watched a ton of improv shows, right? A ton of improv shows. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
And seeing it from that perspective, like I remember we went back that year and we were like, did y'all see what they just did? Like, they literally did a scene from like one small thing and made it like 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
And we were just like, wait, what? And that beauty in watching just a different type of improv, right? Chad and Juzo are just like, first of all, they're geniuses in their own right. But like watching the combination and watching like two people sort of feed off of each other and two people just like have this magical thing that was going on was such a beautiful thing. But we also watched tons of different shows. We watched a group from Arizona that was amazing. But just like that level of like watching something so different inspired us as well. We would have never seen that if we weren't at the festival, right? We would have never gotten that perspective like, oh, they do that out here? They do stuff like that out here? You know what I mean? And so that was a beautiful thing just to like watch. We were all floored. And I was like, dude, I don't know what drugs these guys are taking, but it is the good kind. It is the Flintstones. It's the
chewables.
You know what I'm saying?
But then you go back to your group and you say, that was inspiring. And then that helps you create inspiring work because they inspired you and you're like, oh, I didn't know we could do that. So Now let's add that element of fearlessness or that element of like taking something so small, like you steal a little bit from each person. You go, let's add our twist to that. And then that inspires you. And then that inspires someone else. And it's this constant cycle of inspiring, which is, to me, when it's the best is you go, oh, we got to raise our game now because they did something I didn't even imagine.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the beauty, like, just when you get creative, like, it's hard to just come up with creativity just like on your own, just like writing it. But when you see other creatives, like, that's why I enjoy about this Write 10 club that I'm in, like every morning. Like, the amount of people writing from different places, it's like so inspiring. But like, you got people from Greece writing Trump jokes. You got people from like Russia writing jokes about like Snoop Dogg. And it's like the perspective is like, I didn't even see that coming. But as a joke, it's impressive. And so I'm watching like, wait, what? And that inspires your mind to be like, all right, we didn't know we could unlock this. All right, let's put the combination in and open it.
Hey, there it is. It's so good. And like, it's just, I love your attitude of the excitement of what can be and the excitement of change, and things are not going to go back to being the way they were, nor should they. And this future and this present that we're dealing with right now, there's opportunity here, and continue to treat it with gratitude.
Yeah, it's huge. Like, here's the thing. Yes, the world was great when my 401 was doing well. But guess what? It'll be fine.
Yes.
It'll be fine. My 401 will come back. Because I'm sure all those Wall Street guys are going to figure something out. Because they lost.
Right. It always does. It will.
They're going to figure something out. Yeah. But man, the opportunity to do such different stuff in this new world.
Yeah.
And watch people thrive and create and do different stuff. Like, just who would have ever thought that a drive-through improv show would be a thing? Like, that wasn't even in our collective minds before Corona.
No.
Not even like a possibility. And now that it is Corona, we were like, okay, if I carry the 2 over and then put
move this, do that, okay, put that there. Okay. Yep, it can work.
Yeah, we can make that work.
I mean, I have always dreamed of doing this because friends move, or you meet people in different cities and you're like, man, if there's only a chance to play with you that didn't involve travel and didn't involve spending money. And I guess one day maybe, I don't know, but this has forced that to become a reality now.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful, man. I'm so jazzed, and it's not that I'm waiting for a time. Like, it's happening.
Yeah, it's now.
This new thing is happening. These new shows are happening. I was talking to a comic in San Francisco that said she's made more money off of Zoom shows since than she's made off of the live shows. Simply because people are like, yeah, you're hilarious. Of course we'll throw you a couple of dollars. And now it's like the economics are changing, because now you don't have to wait for a club to provide you a shitty pay, a bar tab for like $6. And you're like, I could have just bought a pack of 24 and that was like $7.99. You know what I mean? Like,
wait, I'm losing money here.
Yeah, I'm losing money. And you're like trying to tell me that this is a deal. Yeah, we gonna get you some tater tots and a beer. Like, that don't pay rent. You know what I mean?
And wait, I gotta eat it in the kitchen?
Yeah. He's gonna cook it for you.
All right.
Then as he cooked the tater tot, you have to take each tater tot, eat it in front of him so he knows that you finished it, because we don't want to waste any tater tots.
I did a show with a group from Connecticut called Perpetual Notion last Saturday, and we got tipped $40 by somebody. $40. I was like, That's probably more than I made in my first year doing improv. I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. I got $40. I was like, look at that. So I think the model has changed. Now those smart people running clubs, they'll figure a way to monetize this for sure, but it's not happening right now. So let's continue to do it. And then as it evolves, we'll evolve with it.
For sure. I think, and that's the thing is that now it's a level playing field.
Yeah.
You doing your, like, I can't wait to see it. You doing your drive-through show. A club couldn't do a drive-through show, right? Because they've got a building to support. They've got rent. You could just do a drive-in show, and now, not that you're taking away, but like you're entertaining people, and they've got to figure that same piece out. And you're right, they will figure it out because they always have figured it out.
Yeah.
Figure something out. But now imagine if your drive-through show becomes the norm.
Right.
Now you are the club. But now it was the only way you got there is because it was a level playing field, and they didn't get a check from daddy or some loan to do a club that
Right.
was run and then run into a system. Now we're all on the same playing field. So our ideas are on the same playing field. And
That's
that's
it.
beautiful. Like that our ideas are now on the same playing field. I have this dope idea to shoot some great stuff in the city, and I can do it.
Yeah.
I don't have to wait for anybody. Like, I can literally do it because guess what? It's all going to be by Zoom anyway. You know what I mean? So it's like, let me just do it.
And
Yeah.
if when they come to take that idea, cool. I got a million other ideas.
A million.
You
You know
go
how many
get
things
one?
I got in this idea chamber? Like, I'm cocked and loaded, ready for ideas. If you take one, I got 19 others in the chamber. I know
Yes.
it's only 18 here, but I've got 19. You understand?
It just forces the innovation again, where you're like, cool. That doesn't mean that that's the end of ideas. That's one
Yeah.
idea. And now
Yeah.
let's figure another one and go, let's not fight the technology. Let's figure out how to incorporate the technology and make it our friend. And this is a new form. Like we're doing internet comedy. So all right, let's figure what works for that. And then along the way, as you stumble, people watching give you more leeway because nothing's established. So they're like, hey, you tried, or that really worked, or that worked better than I thought. And people are, these moments online are giving people a relief from their day, and they go, I can tune in and watch for a few minutes. I can watch you do comedy and make you laugh, or make you, I can listen to what you're saying, or you offer some positivity. I mean, that's going so much farther for me.
So much farther. Yeah, man. I can't, dude. You have no idea. I can't wait. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see the shows. I can't wait for just the level of beauty
Oh,
that is coming out of this is such a jazzed up thing. And I think what it is you could either take it as this is huge opportunity, or you can be on the other side and be like, you know something, comedy's dead, no one's doing live shows and all this other stuff.
yeah.
But then you have to ask yourself, which one of these is serving you, right? Is the idea that comedy is dead serving you?
Right.
No,
Right.
not anywhere close is it serving you. But if people believe comedy is thriving and like this shit is like beautiful, you know how many crazy shows I've seen that are Zoom shows right now?
Yeah.
Craziness. Like
Yeah.
those people had 18 in the chamber and like 17 of them were bad, right? But guess what? At least they tried the 17. They
And
would have never been able to try the 17.
yeah, too many times people are going to tell you what's wrong with what you're doing, and it's people who aren't doing anything. It's like, cool, if they want to think that, that's fine. That's they're entitled to that opinion, but it doesn't affect me. Like, you can tell me what's wrong, that's cool, and it might not be for you. That's great as well. I'm not asking you. It's taken me a long time to stop trying to drag people and be like, come on. It's like, cool, you want to hang out there? That's great. I'm moving this way.
Yeah. You ever read Bossy Pants? Is it Amy Poehler? Is
Oh,
it
Tina Fey.
Tina Fey? Man, in Bossy Pants, she said like just the most profound, like just simple stuff, right? When she was like just working and doing all the network stuff. No, it was Yes and. It was Amy Poehler.
Amy's, yeah.
And Yes and, Yes Please. She said, just do all the stuff that you want to do and don't be tied to the results.
Yes.
And it's like, wait, what? It doesn't matter if it's great. It doesn't matter. As long as you just do it and you're having fun with it, now, guess what? It's going to be great because you would have done so many other shows. If you wait for like that one perfect idea, nothing's going to happen from that one perfect idea. But if you're spitting out 19 ideas and you're just executing on 19, you're like, pew, 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 one of them's going to stick. And somebody's going to go, oh, caught that bullet. I like this. You know what I mean? And they're going to take it and then be like, let's do something around this. Okay, let's put a little cherry on top. Let's see how we can manifest this into something awesome. And that's the beauty that we have right now. And that is the only way comedy gets to be great, is if we believe that comedy is not dead. And right now, it's alive and kicking. We're gonna just bring it back up. So,
it's a phoenix. It's a phoenix.
It's rising.
It's rising, and you do it 19 times. You're 19 times better at doing the thing. You do it, you get better. You do it, you get better. You do it, and the sooner you start doing it, the sooner you're going to get better or more comfortable at doing the thing you want to do.
Oh my God, comedy is compound interest. If you
yes,
right, you do it that first time, it's better, and then that second time, it's better than the second one, right? And then the third time, it's better than the second one. And then the fourth time, it's better than the third. And then the fifth, it's better than this. But it's not like you do one and then you wait all the way till number 19. No. It literally got like better, compound interest better.
Yes.
And I forget who said it, but I think it might have been our great forefather, Benjamin Franklin, that said compound interest is like the heartbeat of success. Anyone in finance would tell you that compound interest is much better than anything else. It literally is like the seventh world wonder or the eighth world wonder is compound interest.
Yeah. Yes. That's the eighth world wonder.
Yeah. Like you apply it to comedy or anything, right? And you put it in, just like you save a little bit of money. You put $100 in, but you don't wait 10 years to put another $100. You put $100 in 1 year, and then now that's grown 10%. Now it's $110. Now you put interest on top of that. Now it's $21. Now you put interest on top, and it just gets better. And that's the beauty in this comedy. That's what I like. That's why I like seeing people do. I like seeing crappy shows because I'm like, guess what? The next time it's gonna be so much better.
And we've done them. We've done crappy shows, and it's like you learn from both good and bad shows. And there is something to, I'm doing a bad show, but I'm going to be fine. I'll get over it. And I don't have to do this bad show again. I'm doing it now, but I don't have to do it again.
Yeah, it's going to be so fun. I mean, it's going to not only be fine, but we're going to learn so much from it. We're going to evolve from it. And then the next time, it's a newer version. It's a better version of you. Because no one has like a bad improv show and then has another bad improv show. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that was terrible, but there's no way that you saw that and it's going to be like, let's do that again.
That was terrible. You want to go again? Yeah, and it all, everything changes. That you now go, the next time I have an opportunity to do something similar, I can make a different choice. And that's it. And then you make a different choice. And then you lose sight of the fact that performers sometimes lose sight of the fact, especially improvisers, being up on stage is a success already because so many people are afraid to speak in front of people. So the fact you're up there is already, it's already mind-blowing to a lot of people.
You getting on stage, you are literally doing something that less than 1% of the world's population would rather die.
Right.
They'd rather die. Like, I'm doing death better. You know what I mean? Like, I am beating up death by being on stage telling big jokes, telling like beat jokes. You know what I mean? Like I'm telling jokes about the most random of things and I'm beating death.
Yes.
That perspective is it's so huge for me. And when I tell like younger comics, I'm like, yo, just keep going at it.
Yeah.
Yes,
just keep doing
you had a terrible set. You're gonna have terrible sets. You're gonna have terrible sets when you get to my point. Now, they're not as terrible as they were in year one, right? But have I had a terrible set in year 6? Yeah, but it's so much better than the sets that I had in year one.
Yeah.
I don't want year one sets. You know what I'm saying?
Well, year one, you're like, I hope this goes well.
Yeah.
Year, whatever, at some point it kicks in where you go, I expect this to go well. Like,
Yep.
I'm not afraid it's going to go bad. I expect this will turn out fine. And even if it's a bad set in year 6, you're still like, it's fine. And you laugh about it and you go, okay, cool. Why didn't it work? But it becomes fewer and farther apart.
Yeah, absolutely. And then like, yeah, the difference is year one, it kind of all sucks. And then year 6, it sucks so much less.
Yes.
Right? But also, you're not affected by it. Like, if I don't get I've worked so hard to have an opener that gets a laugh in like 15 seconds, right? That's my own rule. It's typically the rule for a stand-up, right? You got to get a laugh in 15 seconds so you know the crowd. But if the crowd isn't there with me, you think I'm going to sulk about those 15 seconds and like wait for it? No. I remember going to a place that I hated doing comedy at just recently. And I was telling somebody, I was like, man, I hate doing comedy here. And they were like, why? I was like, because like in year one, I did it and I had this killer 5-minute set that I destroyed with, like literally the night before, the day of. And then I could perform at that place. When I tell you I ate it, like I ate it so hard, like it came with a side of like salad. Like it was such a bomb. It was terrible to such the extent. Like
Oh God.
I went home. I drove home after my set. So it was a 5-minute set, but I performed that 5-minute set like in 3.5 minutes because I just rattled it off. I was just like, I just got it all out, right? Got off the stage, like didn't try to make any eye contact. No. I remember calling my wife and telling her, hey babe, I'm crying in the fetal position in the car, so it's gonna be a little bit before I get home. I cried so hard, Jay. It was terrible. It was terrible. Like it hit at my soul how bad I bombed at that place, right? And I got home, and then like the next day, she said, "So are you gonna do it again?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" Like, yeah, I'm gonna do that again. Because first of all, I don't want to feel that feeling again.
Yeah.
But also, I needed that. Like I needed to be put off my pedestal of what 5 minutes was.
You got to be checked.
And I needed to be checked. Yeah. And right now, Corona is checking our lives. Yeah. It's like, yeah, your life. Yeah, let's put a nice little check on it. Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah. Hi, Corona. You were comfortable, right? Everything was going on fine. Cool. Yeah. Check this out.
Yeah. The manager needs to see you in the back.
Oh, okay. I got to eat this whole pile? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right.
The whole thing. Yeah. I mean, is it 6 feet high? No, it's about 6'7". So yeah.
Cool.
You got to take the whole thing. Yeah. You got to eat it all. Yeah. Oh no, we can't put salt and pepper on it.
Nope. As is. As is.
As is. No seasoning, no flavor.
Oh
just
my God.
olive dog poo-poo.
Yes, yes, yeah.
And you got to eat it with a plastic spoon. Like you don't even get fancy silverware.
It's so true. And I laugh not at your expense, but I laugh in recognition of those moments where it's like, You just have to do them. You have to do them. And then you become less precious with what you do.
Yeah.
Move on and you gain more confidence, and that's it.
Yep. And you gotta get in that chamber and just spit out those ideas. Yeah.
And just keep going and realize nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. People just have different degrees of confidence.
No one knows what they're doing.
Everyone is just making it up.
You're just literally making it up. Here's the thing I keep telling my kids. I've already told my kids, I don't know how to raise your asses. Like, I'm figuring this shit out too. I've had to ask Alexa, how do you raise these badass kids?
I love you every day. Don't always like you, but I love you every day.
Every day. I'm coming from my heart, son. In this moment, do I kind of want to take your legs out and send you to your room? I kind of do. But I also know that's probably illegal. Okay?
Yeah, let's be honest. I'm just being honest.
That's okay. So I'm going to use my best judgment. I'm going to go take a walk around the park. And I'm going to come back and be a better dad to you, because right now, I might choke you. All right? So son, I'm going to be out. Okay? And I'm going to come back. And you better not be playing your video games when I told you 16 times. Get off the goddamn video games, okay?
For sure. And then, I remember a friend of mine once said, before I had kids, I was never going to I'm never going to let them watch TV. TV's a bad babysitter. And then you have kids and you're like, TV's a fucking great babysitter.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good. And you know what's even better? It doesn't touch the kids. How great is that? Like, it doesn't violate the kids. It doesn't do any of that stuff that you're scared about.
Right. Just sit there. It just distracts them long enough for me to finish this thing I got to do.
Yeah. Not long enough for me to finish this pile that I've got to eat with a side of salad.
Num, num, num. Oh.
Num.
You want to, let's improvise.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh man, dude, I could talk to you all day, and this will not be the last time. But let's do, let's see, I got 26 suggestions. So pick a number, my friend, between 1 and 26.
Let's do 22.
Oh, perfect. The suggestion comes from Jen, and it is ground control to Major Tom is our suggestion.
Ground control to Major Tom. All right. Hey, Tom?
Yeah.
Tom,
yeah.
You got, did you get that signal that I sent you earlier on in the day? It was just like a small signal. I just like flickered my hands a little bit. I think I was trying to let you know that my wife will not be coming to the Christmas party.
Oh, wow. Wow, Don, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah. We're going through some things right now. And it's been really tough. And I really wanted to be there for the Christmas party you were doing. I mean, you guys do it every single year. You invite the mayor. I really wanted to see the mayor. And I'll be there, but she just won't. But I'll be there having a good time. But man, she's gonna miss it.
Do you feel like you shouldn't come? Like, do you still want to come? I won't be offended. I mean, I'm going through some things with Cheryl too, to be, if we're going to be completely honest. So I get it.
Yeah, I thought about not coming, and then like 2 seconds later, I was like, I'm definitely going to come.
Okay.
Mainly because I don't want to stay at home. Like she doesn't want to come because, I hate to say this, but she kind of hates Cheryl. hate is a strong word. She strongly dislikes Cheryl because of uh, that potato salad incident that we had last year. Um,
I want to apologize for Cheryl. She has a very strong stance, and she does not believe that mayo should be part of potato salad. Now, me, I don't agree with her at all. And I'll be honest, like I thought I had a side with her, and I've been doing a lot of, it's funny, since you mentioned that, I've been doing a lot of thinking since that incident. So for the past year, I'm thinking, I don't think what she did was right. And so, I mean, I think potato salad comes in all types and flavors. And if you want to put mayo in it, that's great. If you want to have it vinegar based, that's great as well. And I think it's a bigger issue for us to be, if I can be honest with you.
yeah, and
She's horrible.
I know, and as I was thinking about it, and you asked me earlier whether I was going to come.
Yeah.
I know it's a costume party as
Yeah.
well. I just hope you guys aren't offended that I'm going to be dressed as Mayo. Um, Not for Cheryl's sake. I'm really just trying to save my wife at this moment. And this is more of a power play that I don't think you guys need to necessarily like be involved in. But if I make this Mayo stance, it's going to work out for me later on. So I hope you guys don't mind that I might cause a scene at your party. And but I am going to come as Mayo to the party, and I'm also going to bring a barrel of mayo to your party.
Well, first off, solid costume. Okay. Like coming in mayo, you're probably gonna win because every year, as you know, people just recycle their old costumes. So first off, solid. Second off, mayo, very versatile as a condiment.
Oh, so versatile, so
So
versatile, and I'm going to be the stand-up squeezable kind, right?
I mean,
So
of course, that's the only way to go. Can I be honest with you?
yeah, yeah, oh, absolutely.
Cheryl and I are separating. I'm in the process of getting a place of my own because that conversation we had last year kind of was the tip of the iceberg. And what I found out was her and we have nothing really in common, and we're staying married for me out of a place of comfort. And I don't want to blame all my problems on her, but I mean, you've seen what she did, and that was the smallest of an overreaction, and that was a huge overreaction on her part. So I'm sorry, and I understand why you would want to come alone. I'm happy you're going to come at all, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited. I'm going to come as Mayo. I mean, and I'm sad that I'm sorry about what's happening with you guys. And if you need a therapist, I'm here.
I
I'm not
do.
licensed or anything, but I can still do it.
I do need a therapist, so yes, I will take you up on that offer for sure.
And I think the biggest thing that I've learned in my 3-week online course that I've been taking through Zoom classes
Yeah.
for online therapy
Yeah.
is that it's probably your fault.
Mm.
That's 3 weeks. I haven't gone any further. That's really the point that I'm at, and it's pretty much at that point. I took the test. It was like, whose fault is it? And it said it's yours. It's yours, Tom. So um, that's all I can really provide in terms. I'm still working on the courses, but just if that helps or not, you're probably in fault.
I mean, it's funny. I've been going to therapy, and we've been going to couples therapy, and this is the first time that a therapist, and let me be honest with you. You're a therapist. You've taken classes. You're a therapist. All right. It's the first time that anybody put it so bluntly but succinctly enough that I think of course it's my fault. Like, how could it not be? And wow, that just made it easier for me knowing that that's the case. So, I mean, that's kudos to you, Don. Like
Oh,
that's huge. And you've got a knack. I'll be honest with you, you got a knack for it.
I appreciate it. I mean, when I get to your party, I plan on therapizing everybody. I don't even know if that's a word, but
It is.
I learned it in my online therapy class that you can just say words like therapizing and people will get it. So we'll therapize Steve. We'll therapize Justin. Um, we'll therapize Millie Vanilli. I, and they need it the most. I mean, they're trying to make a comeback, and I don't think right now is the time to make that kind of comeback.
Read the room. Read the room, right?
I mean,
It's
I
not
can't
time.
even believe we became friends with them. I mean, like, who would have thought that they would have just showed up at a bar in, East Lansing and be like, "Do you guys want to play on the karaoke machine?" And you're like, "Yeah."
Sure. Right?
Who doesn't want to do karaoke with Millie?
Why not?
Why not? It's like the universe is saying, "Haha, this is the greatest thing ever."
And at one point, therapy wasn't a word. So it is a word if you say it's a word.
It's so true, so true. I'm just excited. I'm just excited to come. Not gonna be with. I mean, of course, you're. It's your show. Not gonna be with Justina, and I'm gonna come as the Mayo. And honestly, if you wouldn't mind telling all your guests, I want to be squeezed when I get to the party. It's just a part of the costume. And when you squeeze me, um, something's going to come out. I want to be a fully functional Mayo. And I'm going to make
I
people squeeze
am
me out.
messaging through Evite.
Yes,
Don't
please.
forget, I'm going to send a message right now.
Thank you.
Don to be squeezed.
That's going to make my day.
Well, I'm so glad that I ran into you because I was thinking, ugh, it's another costume party. Are they coming out or are they not? And I was prepared for the worst. And this is, I mean, I'm sad she's not going to be here, but this is the best scenario outside of that is that you're still going to come out.
Yeah,
And
they're going to come
what a
out.
costume.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. What are you? Have you planned on what you're wearing this year? Like, is the Transformer was a hit last year?
Yeah, and my first thought was Optimus Prime again this year, but instead, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to come as myself, but I'm going to have a sign around my neck saying, uh, "We are separating. Please ask any question," and then that way, I've addressed the elephant in the room.
Oh my God, that's so meta. That's
Yeah.
so meta. Ah, that's going to be awesome. I mean, and then people are going to think literally you're transforming. You know what I mean? Like it's like look at look at look at Don
Thank
transforming.
you.
Look at him.
I mean, I guess this is my own personal transformation.
It is. It is. Here's the thing. I think at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you're transforming. Millie Vanilli is going to be there. I mean, we can't help but have a good time at this party, and then people are just going to squeeze me all day. Ugh, I mean, this is like a dream come true.
This is party of the year.
Party of the year. I mean, do you understand? Like, my wife hasn't squeezed me. Like, I wear the Mayo costume every night,
And nothing.
and nothing. She hasn't squeezed me. Like, she literally hasn't, like, even thought to squeeze. Like, I'm literally in the costume. I'm wearing a squeezable Mayo costume every night. I
Let it
mean,
out.
I I put squeeze me on it.
Let it out.
I said, squeeze me.
Let it out. If you can't cry here in the sauna, where can you cry, Don?
I'm sorry. I just need a moment. I didn't think it was going to affect me this much. I mean,
control your feelings.
I just don't we all just want to be squeezed? Isn't that all we're really asking for in life?
Come here. Come here. Let it out. Whatever comes out, comes out. Scene. My friend, so fun. I love. I'm gonna wear a male. Hey, I'm just gonna let you know I'm wearing a male costume to your party. Taking the smallest thing and then making it a big deal. So good. It's always so fun. Just like it's so fun talking with you. It's great playing with you. Where, if people want to find out more, like about your shows, or they want to follow you online, or the Red Pill Players, or anything like that, like what's the best way? I know you're on Facebook, but is Instagram the best way? What's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Facebook is probably the best. Here's the crazy part. I do social media for a living. I do digital marketing for a living, but I am terrible at personally doing it.
It's like actors who go, my website's terrible. It's like I'm a web designer, but my website's terrible.
I'm so bad at it. The reason I'm bad at it is mostly because I don't think to like send anyone when I'm doing stuff.
Right.
And I'll send it to them like the night before or like a week ahead. I mean, we're creatives, right? We're not getting gigs like that are like ramping up to like a month or anything like that. But I will say, I will take all invites to my personal Facebook page. Follow the Red Pill Players on Instagram, literally on everything. Amazing group of folks, amazing group of people.
So good.
I'm also on Instagram I think I'm on there at DJ Yoshee, and then also my production company, which we do shows in town and across like the Southeast. When we start doing shows again, is Comedy Wit, on Instagram. So those are probably the best places to find me. And also, I'll plug this. Me and my wife were releasing a podcast, probably either tonight or tomorrow. It'll be on all the platforms, called F the Joneses. And it is sort of about really just saying screw it to the system of the following some script of happiness. My wife and I are both life coaches. She's like a doctor, and she's also a yoga instructor. I'm an executive. I'm a comedian. I do life coaching, but I also do improv, and I'm the funny one in the relationship. And so so we've combined our powers to make this podcast.
Wow.
And the goal is to just like talk about life stuff, but also sort of help people and give them tips and tricks on sort of what we found in our journey. About a couple of years ago, we sort of made a massive shift in the way that we thought about sort of our happiness. We were both working, both had gigs, and both like living what people would consider sort of that successful life, making huge salaries, living in a nice sized house, doing like all the things that everyone sort of believes to be like the definition of success. And over the course of a couple of months, like we looked at each other and we were just like, is this it? And we recognized that our happiness shouldn't be defined by other people. And so we moved out to the suburbs, got ourselves a smaller place, and lived on half the salary that we were. Wow. And I'm telling you, we could be happier.
That's awesome.
It's an amazing transformation that we've ever made. And so this podcast is really about like sort of taking big leaps, not following sort of the script that people give you. And then, helping you with like actual practical advice from people who have done it, but also people who are very well mentally, and then putting a nice little comedic spin on it. I still do dick jokes, okay? So that's not going away.
I'll do the podcast with you, but I got one stipulation.
One stipulation.
Well, it sounds amazing. I cannot wait. What great timing too. I cannot wait to listen to it. I'm such a big fan, and it's always a pleasure when I get a chance to talk with you, no matter how long or brief. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking time out, my friend. This was great.
Absolutely. This has been awesome. I needed this, and I appreciate what you do for this community, Jay. You have no idea the kind of spirit that you bring to the improv community is the kind of stuff that moves people. So thanks for your commitment to this game, and to this art form, and to the people that you've affected. You've affected me in my life. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you, and keep doing what you're doing, man. You're affecting change like nobody's business, and you are a badass, an ally, and an amazing human being. So thanks from the bottom of my heart, dude. This was
thank you, my friend. And the same thing for you. You're doing such great work, and you're affecting people in improv and comedy and also in life. So I really appreciate you, and I can't wait to talk with you again.
Yeah, brother. All right. Have a good one, man.
Yeah. Love you, my friend.
Gotta go feed these damn kids.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. I left mine in the car. I'll be right back. See you, buddy.
See ya.